purple shooting. No time to evac, goons driven out of date. Big country's gone away, still has so much more to say. We didn't like the silo, it was always burning since Macone's been learning. We didn't like the silo, no we didn't like it, but we tried to black it. There's incursion, rushing is back again, riding dead complex, paying for a subway flex. Cheat a local scam, a contract for a foolish man. Royal and non-sperm band, Big Tony's new master plan. RMTers, trillionaires, money moves, renters, coalitions, bit of edge, diplomats standing set. It's the lockers on the gates, high sec underwater days. The embassies, casino wars, I can't take it anymore. We didn't like the sign-up.
Clicking all the buttons. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Push to Talk. Today,
one of these is meant to work.
Hey, and you guys were even perfectly quiet when we started. This is excellent.
That is a lovely shirt.
A what?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Where's Eric? I can't see you. There's a traffic cone in the way.
Traffic cone.
Oh shit!
This is
fucking harsh, bro.
Oh my god! Oh my
I'm
god!
a traffic barrel. I'm not a cone.
You're what we call the state bush of North Carolina.
There you go.
In Ohio.
No, it's a. Trust me, it's the state bush of Pennsylvania. Well,
fucking those giant traffic barrels.
Okay, I'm gonna come online to say, yeah, Pennsylvania, PennDOT are fucking lunatics and absolutely way worse. I refuse to believe that there's a traffic situation worse than goddamn PennDOT closing fucking lanes on the tunnel into Pittsburgh arbitrarily. Just they do insane shit.
It's Alabama. It's like Formula One.
Hold it. You act like you almost experienced that once.
I grew up about an hour south of Pittsburgh.
Oh, I did not know that.
So yeah, I know about some fucked up idiot PennDOT traffic bullshit. Yeah,
and an entire population that believes that they must slow down to 35 miles an hour when entering any given tunnel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know, of course, the tunnel in Pittsburgh is ridiculous because you actually have to get over while you're in the damn tunnel, but people are slowing down because there's an off ramp.
Hold it, wait.
You know, and an on ramp right after the fucking tunnel, so people just kind of slow way down because they want to get over to their fucking lane.
Let's do a 6-lane change in 300 feet as a requirement to get where you're going.
And let's do it at 5 miles an hour. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. So, everybody, welcome to another show out there in the audience. We're glad that you're here. Obviously, we have Para back here again, munching down on something good. Look at there. Look at that. McLeod over there, across the pond.
Hello.
RJ was able to make it this week, as well as Scythe. He, they gave Scythe a break from working this weekend. So
was that sub wrapped in tinfoil?
And by break, he means leave of absence.
Yeah, I just got to sub out my pepperoni roll out of the tinfoil here, and
is that the same tinfoil that Alex Jones was wearing last week on our show?
Yeah. You don't want to waste that shit.
No, it's reasonable.
It's super expensive, right? Just rinse it out.
And we also have DBRB joining us because he just showed up out of thin air, said, "Hey, I'm coming on the show." We're like, "You're on?"
Okay. Well, no, actually, some guy messaged me and he was like, "You're coming on the show." Yeah. Oh no, it was It starts with an F.
Oh, Falahorn.
Yeah, that guy. He's like, "You're coming on the show," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll visit him off."
Damn.
Really?
That sounds about right for.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's like, "You're coming on the show. We want you to talk about a thing," and I'm like, "Okay, when's the show?" And he's like,
talking about 'cause it's
He didn't tell any of us.
The best part is he told me the show started at like 11 a.m. Eastern, so I had to like set an alarm to get up on a timely manner.
He doesn't know anything about. They use metric time over there. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Travel by sail to deliver mail.
Fucking metric time zone.
It's annoying trying to convert time from 60 minutes to 100 minutes. It's
Right.
Yeah, 60 to 100 is a really pain in the ass percentage change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got up early, and I'm like, the fiance was helpful. She's like, "You need to get up," and I'm like, "No, I'm going back to sleep." And she's like, "You're gonna miss your show." And so I get up and I look at Discord. It's like, "No, you got 2 hours." I'm like, "Oh, mother."
Yeah, don't listen to British people. They are fucking liars.
Hey, I'm not a liar.
Yeah, McLeod, big liar. Definite liar. He pretends.
Lion McLeod. Yep.
But he's ginger.
That's funny. So welcome. Glad you can make it.
Yeah. So do you want to know what we're talking about this week?
I do.
He apparently didn't tell you guys.
Yo.
No, yeah. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Apparently we're talking about NGSA and the
Okay.
crushing of the Kavala Expanse.
Cool.
Mm.
How'd that work out?
I have heard that there's been some commotion going on down
Was
there
that successful? I'm not
as
sure.
of late.
Well, I mean, we've been camping it for 2 months. And then all of a sudden, 26 iHubs died.
Like suddenly?
Oops.
Yeah, just like all of a sudden, we started killing them. Apparently, there's a guy named by the name of Kunmi, who one day was just like, "Look, I'm just gonna take VNIs and start hacking these iHubs that have like 2 ADMs." So he starts killing iHubs, and then a couple of like our U.S. time zone SIGs that don't exist because they're like in rebuild mode, so they only have like 30 guys. They started showing up, and then we have this like downtime group called Space Ghosts who have like 30 guys, and then they start showing up because 2 ADMs mean the timer's like 18 hours long, so you can hack them whenever you want. And so yeah, 26 iHubs have died in the Kavala Expanse in about 2 weeks.
So what you're saying is the people who have done the NGSA Cloaky camping plus about 60 guys took down the Kavala Expanse.
Yeah, so it got to a point about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago where Horde leadership told their dudes that they're no longer going to care about Kavala because there's just so much AFK camping. There's nothing that they can use the region for. About a month earlier than that, they took out all of their Supreme, like, which are like they're guys who are part of the lead organization called Blessed Being, and the Vanguard, Horde Vanguard, like the two like elite groups inside Horde, they were repositioned to Cobalt Edge so that they could get away from the AFK camping. And then, like I said, a couple weeks ago, a bunch of people, I think TNT started it, just went up there and just said, well, if they're not going to care about it, let's just see how many iHubs we can knock over. And they started forming fleets to come over and try and stop it, but I just think the video in chat, that's what happened the last time they brought a fleet. So they bring like jackdaws over, and then they get blown up. And then if they bring anything like Munions or actually serious ships, they get blue balled because they don't have any jump bridges in the entire region. So they have to gate around the entire region.
God damn, that's bad.
Yeah, so let me give you some numbers real quick. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's the video of them using ships. So just a random squad. So as of this moment, we have 360 people logged off in their space or logged in. And then their ADMs have fallen to 2 or under for 60 out of 68 systems.
Wow.
Which means that they're not using the region at all. Like, their renters have kind of stopped caring. In some cases, the renters actually revolted and then like took the iHubs themselves. But yeah, 26 iHubs have died. 5 TCUs, 1 belonging to Test, 4 belonging to TNT, and then a whole bunch of like Fortizars and Astra Houses, shit like that's been blown.
I'd love to know. I'd love to know if those renters in there are still being requested to pay money.
No, the rental region's dead.
Well, I was going to ask this. Just for the edification of all the other renters out there in the world, when those renters started revolting and taking their own territory, did we attack them? Did we go after those TCUs, or did we stay focused on the bad?
That's the thing. I don't know because I'm not there. So I've just been managing the camping, make sure they stay active.
Mm-hmm.
They have things to do. So if you ever do want to camp, there's a great link for you. One second. It's open to literally anybody. Just go to this link. It's called NGSA. The thing is interesting about this is unlike Darkness tried to function in the region of Declan when we were camping them for at least a month. Like, they tried to do things. But it took us a month, 2 months to pacify them, right? We pacified this place in a week. Like, the amount of AFK camping, to give you the numbers, not a single super carrier, one Rorqual, no carriers, and no Titans have died in Cabal Expanse in 2 months because there hasn't been any to kill in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's like, the thing is like these guys that are camping, so we have a policy with NGSA, so I don't know if I explained this on the show previously, but the way it works is if a super, a carrier, a dread, a Titan, or a Rorqual die, they get paid, right? So we have a bounty program. So if NGSA guy X is camping in a system and he finds a Rorqual ratting, and then that Rorqual dies, that NGSA guy is going to get $1 billion ISK. If a super dies, he's going to get 2 billion. If a Titan dies, he's going to get 3. And I have this 10 billion ISK that Aerith gave me just kind of sitting there for the last 2 months collecting dust because there hasn't been any to pay out. The one Rorqual that died was I AWACS'd it with my Horde character, so I didn't even have to use NGSA. But it's a ghost land there. They did have one jump bridge set up that went to a keep star they have in this like back end constellation. But when they abandoned that to move to Cabal or the Cobalt Edge, they took down the jump bridge. So they have no jump bridges in the region. So like whenever Horde has to go there to defend some random iHub in the back of space, it takes them like 20 jumps to get there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
I like the fact that you actually that the NGSA actually developed a proper bounty hunting system.
Well, again, so there's 3 ways that they get like a reward, right? So chat logs, I'll link them chat logs if I get them from Horde. Like the most recent ones were, hey guys, we're just not going to care about TKE anymore, which is the Cabal Expanse, and we're going to focus our efforts on Geminate and dealing with Test, and occasionally we'll go to the Cabal Expanse. Then just a couple days ago, they started this new like standing fleet that will respond to us hacking in the Cabal Expanse. But the only time we're hacking is in U.S. time zone. So in U.S. time zone, they have no help from NC or PL on like a good level. And the other day, I think they went through like 150 guys. But that 150 just gets blue balled. And it's getting to the point now where they're going into the Kavala to like stop the hacking. But by the time they get there, because we see them coming the second they form up an OV, everyone's gone. So they get no kills, no nothing. They may save an iHub, but then they lose 2 more. So it's been kind of hilarious.
Yeah, by the time they form a response fleet and all that kind of jazz, they've lost a few. But then they go and save a like say, 6, but they keep on losing them every single time.
Well, they can't save them all. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where all the iHubs will die. Like, I literally sat in 1S-S, which is the system that connects to Geminate, the closest system to their space, started hacking, and it took them 20 minutes to come over and find the. Like, for them, that's a jump bridge to get to me, a jump bridge and a gate, and they couldn't bother to come that close.
Wow.
That's pitiful, man. Jesus.
What's also really funny is one of their systems has no iHub in the Kavala. The TCU is owned by Test. So what Test did, if I remember, if this is how the ADMs work, I think Test set it at its capital, just as a joke. So the ADM is now 6 So, like, there's literally they're gonna have to like hack a test TCU that's on ADM6. So it's gonna take them forever to even kill that TCU.
So what? Speaking of test, what happened with that deployment? I know Villy made a statement, and then EN24 was reporting that the deployment's completely over, which would be amazing, I assume, because they found all of the cache. What went down there? What's going on with that?
So Test fucked up 2 dread bombs, lost 350 dreads between the 2 dread bombs, and then realized they can't brawl 100 Titans. And
no shit.
Yeah, about that.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
So they're having to redirect efforts to a different way of doing things. So at first it was going to be like, hey, let's invade Geminate, see what happens. Let's put all our clones in the doorstep of Geminate. And then it went to, oh, hey, look, they have Titans. They're actually alive. We thought they were dead. And then now it's like, okay, well, we could just blue ball the shit out of them in Geminate and just ignore them in Geminate and fight what we want to fight. Because they're the attackers, right? They can do what they want. And at the same time, go dick around in Kavala, which is what they've been doing now. Because they can't actually win in Kavala because they don't take their Titans and Supers over there. And since they don't take Titans and Supers over there, they have to use subcaps. And it's shit. It's a shit region. Like, let's be honest, it's shit. The people that want that region are renters. It's kind of hard to have renters. And so the thing is Horde's eventually going to go broke if this keeps.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotten to the point now where Horde has no rental income coming from Kavala. They're paying rental money to Hard Knocks to have space in Cobalt Edge, which, again, is not barely being used. I think it's like 1 or 2 oracles at best. And then you have all of their high-sec shit's gone. So Horde's income's limited to Geminate. And Geminate don't have shit. So it's just a happy, wonderful mess. And lol.
Plus, Geminate's a bit of a war zone right now, so it's not exactly the best place to make money.
No.
And it's funny, it's like the whole camping thing, I didn't actually think it would work against Horde, because the way Horde's structured, they don't really care about their members, so you would think that the bots and the AFK ratters and that kind of thing would just continue to do their thing. Because if you remember, when NGSA was first deployed, and I came on the show last time, we were going against an active alliance, like a functioning alliance. AFK camping doesn't work at all on a fundamental level if the alliance is a functioning alliance. Like, that's why Delve is AFK camped by 200 people a day, and it does nothing. Like, the Delve mining and ratting machine goes on. Like, it really does nothing. But when it comes to the Kavala Expanse, it was tested against renters, and I figured, okay, renters are mostly bots in most cases, guys who are just AFK ratting, making a shitload of money, then dumping that money into RMT. So you think, okay, those guys are just going to continue to AFK rat, and we're just going to feed off them. We're going to have lots and lots of kills. We're going to kill shitloads of rattlesnakes and VNIs and, the occasional Oracle. There hasn't been anything in 2 months. Like, I can't even come up with a reward system for VNIs because there is none. I mean, we did kill that one Nyx, but
well, it's because botters are always concerned about efficiency, right? So if you fuck with their efficiency, then essentially they get really disconcerted about it. Like they get kind of they look for other better situations that they can go to, better locations.
Well, but you would think so. I mean, but here's the thing: is like these guys that are AFK camping are taking it to a new level, and that's why it's really funny, because there's some guys, like, for example, I'll use the one guy that was called out by our guy that makes the PAP statistics. He's there with 8 characters, and he leaves them on 24 hours a day, so he has a dedicated computer for it. And then occasionally he'll type in local to make it look like he's active. But he'll type in local at completely random times on all the different characters, so it looks like he's active 24 hours a day. So that one guy in 8 different systems has shut down 8 systems. All because botters won't rat with someone in local. Like, it's a risk, right? Like, this is what I was hoping for. I was hoping the botters would whitelist all their campers that are in their system, And then once they whitelist all their campers, the campers tackle something. Because because all of our campers have Sonos Fit now. It's like a requirement.
And then whitelisting, that's a technique that they've, or that's a behavior that you've seen in the past with botters.
Right. Yeah. Like you'll have bots. So for example, this used to be a thing a couple years back with botting, where you'll notice that a guy wants to bot in a system, but he doesn't want to be bothered. So he'll bring his own like one neutral character and just park it there in a safe spot. Now all the other people don't want to rat there because, oh god, there's a guy in local. And this is back in the day when like people didn't really do standing fleets and defense fleets, that kind of thing. So what a botter would do is he would whitelist that character because he goes, oh, it's just a blues neutral, and then go on botting. So I was kind of hoping that would happen with this, but it didn't, and they just kind of stopped functioning. For example, one of the corps that we social engineered a Nyx kill off of about a month or two ago.
That was fun.
When we social engineered that Nyx kill, that alliance is literally just a full of botters, according to the Chinese community, and it's like a corp of botters or alliance of botters. And I haven't seen them active in a month, so yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Nice.
Such a mess.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of not really, giving safe harbor for botters now, like less so than they used to.
Again,
so I think they're all the people who want to kind of go around running bots and stuff like that, they're finding that there's much less variety in locations that they can choose from.
The easiest way to fix botting is you remove local, right? Because there's 3 botting programs that exist in EVE in the last 10 years, and all 3 required local to function. And what it would do is it would one of the bots would like make a sound whenever someone came in local that wasn't blue. Like you would choose colors and it would recognize the colors in local. And then the one bot did like a screen scan. So if the screen scan over local changed from a blue color to a not blue color, it would start going crazy and safe up. Then there's the other bot, which was like a memory injection bot that could literally tell if the guy was blue or not. And like you could adjust that one. And then so all these things require local to work. And then whenever local breaks, you'll see bots die in mass, and it's hilarious.
Well, we had an entire chat kind of blackout at one point, and the amount of VNIs that died, like I looked at the Z-Kill board at the time, and there was literally almost a 3-fold increase. And when you kind of look at some of the other kind of the other sort of regular ships that tend to die, like carriers, supers, all that kind of other stuff, like there wasn't that kind of there wasn't a 3-fold increase in that. So like it was obviously VNIs that were being hit like so hard.
Yeah. So there was a guy, since we're talking about botting, because that's what Cabal Expanse is, literally full of botters, right? There was a guy that posted that you make more money botting with like 8 VNIs because of the loss is not that much, like who cares? Then you do like a couple of botted like oracles or botted carriers, because the expense of like losing a super carrier botter is more than losing like a VNI botter times 10, even though they make the same amount of money.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Like before I started like mining and ratting in like better stuff, when people were ratting in when people were AFK ratting in like in Ishtars and stuff, like I was getting pretty much equivalent or pretty much the same sort of outcome with a VNI, and I was like, you know what, I prefer VNI because if you lose a VNI, it's nowhere near as bad of a loss.
Yeah, but do you guys have any specific questions about NGSA? Anyone?
I need to log my NGSA account in.
Nah, it just sounds like it works really well.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I guess since we're talking about it works. We've tried it on an alliance that functions. It worked. We tried it on renters. It worked. That's the next question is like what comes next, right? So do you keep it deployed against Kavala and just make it a dead zone. Like it feels like if you remember, it's a couple years back now. Manny developed a way, Manny and PL, to what they call brick a station or dead zone. They called it dead zoning, where you capture a station that required almost impossibly equal odds to take it back, and then you give it to one character in his own little corporation and make it so that nobody can dock with that one character. And so it eventually bricked the station to become unusable.
Yeah.
This is what I think NGSA does to rental regions. It literally shuts down a rental region. You pick a region of space, you know it's rental space, you deploy 200 people in 60 systems, and now it's a dead zone.
It's funny because it displays exactly the negative and the vulnerabilities of a rental empire. My goal, so some people in chat just said, CCP will have to fix the issue. There is no issue. There's 3 things CCP could do to fix this. They can remove local, and then AFK camping becomes irrelevant. They can remove the AFK cloaky camping, which will just make Delve so much astronomically safer than it already is. Or they could do a combination of like activity requirements with mods. So like you can remove a cloaking altogether, which they'll never do. But you can make it so you have to like fuel a cloak, right? So like you have like you do with hacking mods where to stay cloaked for an hour, you've got to burn through 10 strong or something. An active alliance in the area will fix the issue. No, not really. Like we saw with Declan. Declan shut down. Declan didn't run, didn't work. There were swaths of Declan that just didn't exist in terms of making money because while Darkness was an active alliance, they weren't big enough to both fight a war on their doorstep and go make money in the face of 4 or 5 goons in every system because you never knew if your work was going to be dropped on. They had to literally evac Declan and go rat and mine and branch to make any money, which is why you saw branch spike in the amount of money it made.
Well, we're not botting in Delve. This is people camped in Delve that doesn't shut us down. That's because we're not botting exclusively. Like we actually are paying attention, and so the whole thing is kind of irrelevant if you've got an actual operator at the other side of the thing. Well, you can go, oh, this guy's been sitting here for 14 hours. I'm not really. Well,
it's a little different than that, right? So like it's a little different than that. So the reason Delve works against AFK camping, like they can't Delve, but it doesn't matter. The difference between Delve and Declan is density.
Well, sure. Delve we can drop the umbrella on anything, right?
Well, it's like if you use a real world example, it's like if I was AFK camping Montana, there's not enough density in Montana to really protect all of Montana from all these AFK campers. But if I was AFK camping Hong Kong, right, there's so many people packed into Delve in such a small place. When you're averaging 40 people a system and have a standing fleet that's always full with a guy that can press a button and summon another 200 caps, the density is so perfectly packed, it just prevents it. Declan was a unique experiment with NGSA because Declan's 5 sinos wide.
Right.
Delve is 1 sino.
Yeah, that's the whole Fortress Delve thing. That's why. Right. That's why we moved down there when the casino people decided they wanted to do their thing, and we went, well, let's just choose willingly to move to Delve because fuck everyone.
Well,
and it works.
Again, 40 is a bit high. No, it's not really, because if people are actually like on weekends, 40 is pretty common to have active in Delve. Some systems, the reason I use 40 as an average because some systems may have 100, 120, and some may be low as 10, but it averages out to about 40. Some says a max 1 hour cycle on cloaks or something. No, see, the reason they can't do that, and CCP's commented on this, the reason it's hard for them to do that particular thing is if you're in a fleet fight, like for me, example, I'm doing bombers and I'm cloaked up, ready to bomb, I'm going to have to work my fleet out every hour, especially in a tie-dye fight.
Yeah, think about a tie-dye situation with the hours thing, and are those timers going to be on the real time, or are they going to be on the Citadel time? Will they be on real time? And then you have a situation where you are in mid-warp and your cloaks are turning off because it's been an hour and you issued the command. And
right.
Yeah.
So that's the problem here, I guess, is that you end up in a situation where the solution CCP can do would fix the issue with cloaky camping or whatever, but they would absolutely crush everyone else compared to goons. Like 1 strong per hour would be cool, but it's not enough because I could just fill my Covops with 3 days of strong. Who gives a fuck? It has to be.
Well, the other thing is, but you could also drop a a secured container like in the system as well.
Well,
right,
one thing that we did to break this might make you laugh, but someone made the comment of, well, let's just make it so their cargo is got to be full of a fuel to run their cloak. And then the problem with that is how do you balance that? Because one of the guys that's AFK camping, he's AFK camping in literally those yachts. Those yachts are cruisers, and they have cruiser-size hulls. So they can hold like 500 M3, 600 M3 worth of space, and they can work cloaked and they dodge bubbles. So if they really wanted to just truly AFK camp, compared to what we require now, as we require Sino on all of them, they could literally do it.
You know what? One of the I was kind of wondering about this. Like, I kind of wondered whether it was possible to actually make like a ramp up requirement for basically for capacity usage that doesn't actually have a limit, but essentially you essentially make a cloaking device like capable of never being able to of essentially capping out a ship eventually, regardless of how the fit is.
Yeah, that would be good. So, like reverse Triglavian type thing.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking because I was thinking like, is there a mod there that kind of showcases that particular kind of mechanic? And obviously, Triglavians have come in with the ramp up of their mods, and CCP have shown that they can apply it to different things. For example, the new Triglavian destroyers being able to, the Triglavian utility boats, right? Utility destroyers being able to actually rep and ramp up their rep. So they can apply it to different things. So maybe they'll be able to, they could apply it to, say, the capacity usage of Covert Ops cloaks. In which case, even if you attempt to try and make it as cap stable as possible, like regardless of whether it's a frigate, a cruiser, or anything like that, you will always run out of cap and your cloak will always turn off.
That's what I would do. Is every cycle it goes up like 10 more cap, 20 more cap, 30 more cap, and just exponentially goes up, and then eventually it just shuts off after like an hour.
Then we're back to the same situation of a 1 hour long cloak, though.
Again, but then in that case, you could at least warp off to a safe, press a button, turn it off and on again, and it resets it.
Or cap inject it or something like that. But you're still in the problem with the tie-dye thing. Really, the thing is, if you make it too short, you run into a situation where you're boning people because of tie-dye, and you just won't be able to warp around in time dilation because you'll get screwed. On the one hand, but on the other hand, if you make it, say, 6 hours long, well, how does that change the situation? I just put 4 cloaky alts there instead of 1, or I just take shifts with people like we might on NGSA, and it doesn't actually change. It just puts a little bit more logistical overhead, but that punishes other people more than it punishes, for example, the Imperium. Because we can handle those logistics. We can put that together. We can have it so that one person, okay, it's a 6 hour long cloak, so one person logs in for 6 hours, and then we have another person on that next 6 hour rotation. No big deal.
But then again, it's organization. Like, organization will always defeat, whatever nerf gets.
Right, teamwork is okay.
Here's why.
But like what I'm saying, what I was kind of thinking is like, most, like, would I be wrong in thinking that most sort of like AFK, like people who run AFK, like sways of AFK campers, like by themselves, that is, like, you know, they're basically the ones who like horrendously abuse the mechanic, right? They're the ones that basically put them on in the morning, go to work for like 6 to 8 hours, and then come back and start doing their shit, right?
Yep.
Right.
So
That's
surely something that lasts like 3 hours is kind of good.
Well, here's the thing that is something that you have to think about. They'll never change cloaking in the near future because it's too difficult a solution to balance from that to other things.
Right.
Like there's so many things that use cloaking as part of the way the ship's designed. Stealth bombers, Covops, it's a whole subset of EVE that has to have cloaks. So again, maybe cloaks is not going to be a thing. So then you have to look at, okay, what's other solutions? There really isn't. Like the CCPs, any solution they do is going to drastically alter the game in the sense that CCP's moneymaker comes from PvE. Let's be honest. There is no guy out there that has 60 accounts, except for maybe one guy or two guys in the entire game that uses all 60 for PvP, right? The guy that has 60 accounts is using them to multiply his money making exponentially. So
yeah, but
Mitten said this once on the Meta Show, right? Like he said this once on the Meta Show, to where there'll never be a time where CCP goes after a major change, like say removing local, that's going to affect PvE in such a negative way that like the PvE just stops, because that happened once, right? There was an example of that where like local got fucked up for a few days, and the amount of money making in those days just died, and all the content, like the people who wanted to roam around and get kills were like, oh, there's just no one to kill. So,
and the other thing,
hard balance.
And yeah, talking of hard balance, I mean, this isn't something that they can iterate on slowly. And let's look at recent hard balance attempts, like fax machines, right? Okay, we're going to fix fax machines. Fax machines are too powerful. Oh, shit, actually, in some situations, we need fax machines to be able to do all that. Wormholes, for example. So, never mind, right? I think we'd see the same thing if they tried to address cloaking. Oh, yeah, we're going to address cloaking. Here's the changes to cloaking. Oh, shit, it fucks up wormholes or something else in a niche use. Never mind. I think you're right. I don't think they would go through with it simply because they're never going to be able to please everyone, and easier to hold the status quo where people are using the cloaks and they're there and it's fine.
I don't know. I like NGSA. I think it's a needed game mechanic because, and this is something I think should be used by everybody. I think Tess should get on board, and all these other people, and then deploy all of their AFK campers to all rental regions, right? Make NGSA great again, deploy it against all rental regions of the game, and kill renting. That's what the game needs.
I mean, I'm with you there on the fact that like renting is a bit of a like, it's bad. It's just generally bad. Like, I mean, I know that people have kind of, large alliances have survived on utilizing it for such a long time, but like, it's such a subservient sort of, like social, like construct that it feels oppressive.
Feels oppressive. It's like the downer comment of the day.
Well,
what?
You said feels oppressive, right?
Oh yeah, renting does feel renting should feel. Well, renting by its nature is oppressive. Like, you're basically telling people like to be subservient to you.
Look, here's how you kill renting, right? You have to convince people. Well, again, this is a hard thing, right? So here we go again with this discussion point that makes why NGSA is so awesome, right? Renters are going to rent. If you're a guy who's AFK botting, okay, if you're an AFK botter, you're going to do what it takes to make money making the simplest means of effort. So, for example, if I rent a a piece of space for 10 billion ISK a month, they're not going to ask me any questions. They're going to let me do what the fuck I want in my little piece of space. Ain't going to be no questions. The ISK going to cost 10 bill a month, but then I'm going to be able to bot and do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? And that's why the botting thing works. But then you look at like
renting. Oh, go ahead.
That's what fuels renting, right? Is the botting thing. They ain't gonna. It just ain't gonna stop. I don't think.
Renting is part of the sandbox. I agree with that. What I also agree with is fuck all landlords is a part of the sandbox, right? Like, seize the fucking place where you like seize your territory. If you have landlords right now, if you're renting right now, throw off the chains of oppression, seize your own territories, fight back against the people who are exploiting you and extorting you, and use diplomacy to get other power blocks to help you out while you take your own territory and get yourself started. You don't need to live under the heel of Horde or NC Dot or wherever. You can. There are other big people out there who can help you take that territory, and that comes back to the guys in Collateral Expanse and so on, who are taking their own TCUs when they started seeing them fall all over the place, right? And they started taking their own. And we didn't go after the people who had taken their own because we don't want that fucking space. We don't care. So take your own space. Take your own space. Become a power block to yourself. That's the nullsec game. That's part of the sandbox. What we need to see is people rising up against their oppressors here. And for a large part, that's going to start with renters who are buying the territory that they use and giving all those profits away to guys who aren't even really logging in.
Yeah, basically claim squatter rights on the location that you're living in.
Right, and then, you live there.
And then, you know, showcase the human rights violations that your landlords are kind of putting you into.
Parasites.
But the landlords don't care.
Greedy.
Landlords don't give a fuck. They're getting paid, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, don't pay them.
Yeah, but
take
when
your
they don't
territory.
get paid,
claim your TCUs. It
ain't
takes
never gonna happen.
And your shit's low, right? Your shit is low powered. You've got what, 2 ADMs in there. Like, cycle a. Just take it. Just take it.
Look, I've been trying to
just
get.
Just your shit.
I've been trying to get the members of the rental community to rise up against their, you know, bourgeoisie masters, but it doesn't work. Okay.
Well, look, but I still have hope. Okay, I still believe that there are people out there who are willing to claim their TCUs, to take their territories that they're renting from exploiters who are, just because they have a Titan fleet, feel like you should give them money to use their space. That's bullshit, man. Just take that space. You're already there. You already have citadels there. It takes a week to kick you out of a citadel. And if you're trying to throw off the chains of oppression, you can probably talk to somebody. I'm sure Test, for example, would love to help people out because they want to bait out the 14 quadrillion ISK super capital fleet that Horde has, or whatever it is. So they'll want to show up for your timers. They'll want to help you out. Like, do the diplomacy game and take some territory. That's the sandbox. Or just be a botter. I mean, that's cool too. That's what somebody's in here saying. Like, oh, they're just all botters. All renters are botters. I don't believe that. I think that there are definitely renters out there who just want to get into the nullsec game, but they don't know how because there are massive power blocks controlling swaths of space that they don't even use. And I can already hear people going, oh, but goons have the biggest fleet and they control all the... No, goons want Delve. We don't really give a shit about... Like, we're not going to go fucking take Ketch or wherever to hold that territory. Who gives a shit? We don't want it. We don't want Declan. Fuck Declan. Why would we take Declan?
Exactly. I want Declan. Of all the campaigns and all of the kind of like wars and sort of like, you know, territory kind of removal of territory, or like of our hostiles like that we've done, have we kept any of it?
Yeah,
no.
We don't want that space. So we want you if you want it, if you are a renter in Declan right now, like you're Darkness or somebody, start taking that territory. That was like a double burn there. I feel really good about that one. I'm going to let it sit.
Nice.
The next goal, I guess, of NGSA is is to get 5 regions camped at once. So the only way NGSA would work is if it was promoted so heavily by Mittens, like to do this, but would be to shut down the drones as a whole. There's like about 5 regions of rental space, and it would be to camp every single one of them.
I'm in.
Now you threw that link out publicly. Is NGSA exclusive to Imperial members?
It's anyone can join it, anyone can do it, and you can do it with neutral characters, blue characters.
If you're a renter and you have an out of corp, there's no reason you could camp yourselves. Fuck, and take your own territory and say, "Oh shit, I can't believe I'm being camped by goons."
If you
and they never even know. They'd never even know.
Like I've offered Horde members to do it, but they don't seem to be taking me up on the offer. Because the Horde members could go AFK Camp Kavala, then they can rat there themselves, but they don't want to.
And Horde members, I mean, your internal security is so low. Like you could just make an alt corp entirely, become renters from yourselves, and then liberate those, and you'd have yourself an alliance, and you'd have. I mean, there's no reason that you should just be living under the thumb of landlords here. These guys in Horde with their 17 trillion ISK super fleet hidden in made fat on high sec wealth, who don't care about you at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, some people may say it's a bit of a shitty thing to do, right? But in Horde's case, I think they're in a bit of a shittier situation right now. That, like, you know, the former would probably be a good idea.
It's their leaders that have caused the problem.
Yeah. So, rise from within, kick out your leaders. Take it over.
Go listen. Yeah, if you're a renter, go listen to If you're a renter, go listen to some Rage Against the Machine.
Right. Listen to some Rage. Get some Tom Morello going, and log in your NGSA Cloaky alt that you can pay for. But check this. How am I going to pay for a Cloaky alt? My God, I barely make enough to Plex myself. Well, check this shit out. Don't pay your rent. And suddenly there's a lot of Plex free to make Cloaky alt accounts. Hell, fuck, you can inject them. Have that shit working next week if you don't pay, 200 billion a week to whoever. I mean, yeah, just don't pay your rent. In the game, to be clear. I mean, I'm also all about don't pay your rent in real life, but that's like not legal. It's like do you in real life, like don't listen. But in
there are ramifications for real life.
There's bigger, like, I mean, if it's a principled thing for you and you don't want to pay your rent in real life, that's right power. But just fight this, smash the state and all that. But don't.
Yeah, you're free to not pay rent in Eve so long as you pay your rent in real life.
Right.
This is the trade-off that you have to make.
You can Plex in Eve, right? It's harder to Plex in real life into, being able to not pay rent. But really, it's like, seriously, just don't pay your rent. Take that money, use it to Plex up a Cloaky alt account, and have your own space. Live the Null Dream. The Null Dream is not paying somebody to be allowed to mine, right? At least not to me. Otherwise, I'd be in Karma Fleet, not in Gunwath. But right.
Yeah. and to be fair, nullsec alliances who rent out space, right? They have always been shitty people. Like, even when because literally the first the first experience of nullsec life that I had, and this was back like 9 years ago, was renting out like in Cobalt Expanse, in Cobalt Edge, and IRC were shitty people to their renters. So it's just, and if they were shitty back then and they're still shitty like now, like, do you think it's going to change in the next like 6 months? No.
Yeah, but we got this.
Jill, I make ISK because I enjoy it. That's fantastic. Like, that is the game. Let's be real here. The game is making numbers get bigger, and the people who came up from the people who bring you the Delve Time unit of currency. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, don't be a dirty ratter. Like, do it, man. That's fantastic. Rat, mine, crab, all you want. That's amazing. Don't pay somebody for the privilege, right?
Exactly.
Take the territory, and I guarantee you'll actually do better because you'll be able to build your own ADMs because you'll be able to make it a capital, so that you'll be able to actually have really strong. You'll actually rat and crab better if you throw off the chains of oppression and fuck all landlords, And
if you feel you can't make it, like you can't do this by yourself, you're not alone. Like, you can get in touch with people like on the other side of the political spectrum and get help.
Right. And coordinate it, right? If everybody does this at once in the rental region, you can only have so many Titan blobs dropped so many places unless you're goons, right? So, like, NCPL Horde, they only have so many Titan blobs they can drop. They don't have unlimited Titan blobs to drop. So, everybody do it at once. Everybody work together, and what are they going to ref your Hus? Like, come on now. Really? They're going to ref my fort. Well, are they going to ref 50 forts?
The thing is, it doesn't matter. There's nothing they can do. They can stop it.
Right.
Unless, we gave the suggestion. I mean, you guys, I don't want to keep up too much time, but we gave the suggestion how to beat NGSA. Consolidate. They're never, but consolidate.
It's just impossible in the renter model.
Well, right, they can't consolidate renters. You can't consolidate renters because then those renters have to share space, which means they have to spare ratting solutions, which means they don't have the same the anoms and stuff they need to make the money they need to pay their rent, so that they can make basically nothing for their time. If I'm a renter, I feel like I have to bot. Fuck. I mean, how am I going to pay a 200 billion ISK a month, whatever bill, without that? My time's very limited. Fortunately, we don't have that problem.
If I'm and if you're a renter and you're good at making ISK, like, why do you have to, like, you'll have issues trying to, like, sharing space with like people who are really, really, really terrible at it.
Right. And they're going to feed, and they're going to attract people down, and they're going to come and they're going to try to kill your excavators, and they're going to call themselves B control or whatever, and they're going to accomplish basically nothing, but that's going to be their content, right? What I'm saying is, if you're really good at making ISK, you are entitled to that ISK. You should keep that ISK. You shouldn't pay somebody all of your ISK that you're making by crabbing just because they have Titans.
You got to remember the rental policies today are a lot. Like, the idea of renting, if you ever seen, this might sound horrible in the analogy, but have you ever seen the show, the movie with Batman where it's like Gotham used to have a better class, or Gotham deserves a better class of criminals? Remember when he says that?
Oh yeah.
The game deserves a better class of rental landlords today, because the rental landlords of old, you would rent a region and you would protect the region, and the renters knew if they fucking got uppity, their shit was going to get stomped, right? The landlords are going to come in, they're going to stomp them out. Or if enemies show up, they're going to stomp the enemies out, right? Like, that was a proper landlord. It's like paying the mafia, right? Like, that's what renting used to be. It's like paying the mafia. You ain't going to fuck with the mafia, man. The rental space is safe. Nowadays, you have Cabal Expanse, where the renters literally can go fuck you, dad, and do what they want. And there ain't nobody going to show up to stop them. There ain't no one going to stop them from paying their bills. Like, if no one wanted to rent Kavala, just live there, who's going to stop them? Or they ain't going to do shit about it.
Yeah. That's my answer. Right. The rent.
So, yeah, that's like the thing. Like,
that link I totally posted right now is for Para. That's totally you right now.
Yeah, the rent is too damn high.
Alrighty, folks, we're down to the final 6 minutes of the show. It's been pretty entertaining so far. Lots of great talk. Good info, Boat, and Para, your rise against the the landlords. I love the we need a whole ad campaign around that.
Really? I mean, yeah. I'm just saying. Just don't.
I'm
Don't
ready
just give somebody money because they have Titans. That's the dumbest thing in this game.
I hate to tell you, but I just feel like going to Kavala Expanse this afternoon and just entosising the shit out of the place.
It's already been done.
I know.
It's getting entosis at such a regular pace. It's a matter of what happens next. Does the place lose all its items? Because you got to remember, a lot of people don't recognize this, but the way the game mechanics are set up now, and maybe I should talk about this too. Mm-hmm. When you burn an iHub, not only do they have to put their own iHub back up, but then they got to go in there and rat and mine to then get the ADMs back up to then be able to install the new mods. So, if say a system before was making 60 anomalies, and you wipe out the iHub, it's down to 5 again or 6, and those aren't good anomalies. So, it really fucks with their ability to make income for at least a good couple, 3-4 weeks after you leave, which is why it's such a big deal.
I know. I just said I wanted to go in Tosis something. It's against everything I stand for in Tosis.
Poor Jalen here.
And Tosis seems worth it.
I know.
And Legion of Death moved out, and PH moved in, and their friends and neighbors turned against us. Get better friends, and keep fighting. You know, reach out to other people. Don't let your friends turn on you, and now you're under the heel of fucking Horde.
Hey,
right?
Tosis seems the best thing you can do in the game.
I have, I mean, talking to Jaliant, right? I've played the game since, I don't know, what is it, 2006, 2005, something like that. And I have never made more money than after I joined Goons. I mean, we lived in a wormhole. Scythe, you know this. You know what we made on a monthly basis, working our ass off in a wormhole, and what you make in a week or a couple days, actually.
I can do it
in a weekend.
Day. I'm off. Yeah. But, I mean, what we were doing in Wormhole was pretty fun. I say that interaction of making money was a more entertaining prospect than ratting by myself, but it's still nothing compared to that.
No.
I feel like if we were doing it and we were the only ones there, we would have, and making it for ourselves, it was a much better prospect. But the share system and stuff we were using,
I know. I know. So, already, last 3 minutes. Let's go around the horn with one last thing for everybody. We'll start with you, Scythe.
Okay, nothing.
Nothing. You got nothing.
No, I've been very quiet this show. And the only question I have asked is, did anyone notice when I walked away?
No.
No.
I had to go work on something in the house real quick. And I was like, I'll just quietly leave.
Scythe was telling such good stories at the beginning, at the pre-show, that we had to turn off the recording of the pre-show because they were so good that we couldn't share them.
They were funny. They were not good show material, but they're funny for us.
No. Alrighty, let's go. Oh, look, who made it? Mist made it.
Heck yeah.
No, cut him off. Cut him to take his mic.
He lied to Boat. He made Boat get up early. Fuck him.
Right. Take his mic.
He made Boat miss something else.
I learned.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll save you for last then. RJ.
If you are going to start a revolution, be sure to print enough flyers when you fight your. That way people show up.
That's a good call.
There you go.
That just reminds me of Thor Ragnarok. We tried to start a revolution, and only my mom and her boyfriend showed up.
Did you not see my link?
McLeod, you're up.
Go listen to some Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine. All right, Para.
I actually want to just talk for a second about something we didn't cover a lot of. Who possibly could have thought that Test would come to some kind of trouble deploying to Legion? And I can't imagine how they possibly could have struggled in any way with such a deployment. It's shocking. I'm startled, etc. It's really amazing stuff. Who would have thought?
Hey, I dropped a Dread. It was fun. Okay.
I'm just saying I personally could never have foreseen that there would have been any sort of trouble trying to deploy to Oijinen to look for a super fleet without one's own group. The mind boggles. It's truly shocking. Yeah. I'm super shocked.
All right. DBRB.
Hi. Yeah, so I just want to tell the stream that I turned down sex to come on this, and she has since fallen asleep. So that ain't happening today. God damn it.
By the way,
saying.
people are out there, bro. Go ahead.
I got one more thing.
Yeah, we'll go for it.
4 minutes. There's a link in the chat here. 4 minutes. The Delta 4 is launching.
Ooh, cool.
Delta 4.
Ooh. Cool.
Giant ass rocket.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like to see rockets launch.
Nice.
My one last thing is just to say that if you think DBRB is kidding, it's an absolute true story. And we made sure that the pre-show taping was off when we discussed it.
And we gave him shit about it for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, if you genuinely, are concerned about boats' sort of prioritization sort of skills, yeah, you have cause.
Yeah, we offered to let him come late, but he's like, "Nah, I'm doing a show."
Wow. Okay, easy.
Wait,
Dedication.
where did that go?
What?
Someone made this really awesome link, and now it's gone.
What link?
What?
Like,
In where?
it was in Discord somewhere.
Oh, in the mid-show messages? I'm sorry, I was doing housekeeping on the server, and I deleted everything.
There, I put it back in the stream. I'll get here.
Yeah.
That was such a good thing. Thank you.
I posted it in stream. Sorry, I was cleaning. I was doing my job.
There you go.
I'm putting it back in.
There we got it. Okay, cool. Because I was linking it, then someone's like, the link's blurking. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Alright.
Thank you.
Alright. It's like I manage the server at odd times, like when I'm paying attention to it.
Like during the show. Oh yeah, I'm gonna delete all the show notes that we're discussing in our show channel.
One image file. Nothing.
Just deletes everything.
Getting the mid-show messages for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so
and I wonder why Eric has issues with the show every so often. It's not him. He just gets undermined by Scythe all the fucking
I
time.
don't do anything on this show except make sure the Discord is moderated. That's my only purpose here, and to say random nonsense. And to egg Paramedic on when he's being an insane person. So
Yeah,
I'm a very sane person.
yeah.
I use this. I have a hat to help me stay that way. Where the heritage.
Did you save your tinfoil? Because it's a one-use only for protecting you against radiation. Yeah.
I make a new one every day.
Sandwich was protected.
all right, well, I have to go make food now, so.
All right, go get a shower.
He's
Make us happy.
If it didn't have the top, I'd say he's protecting himself from those lizard space germs.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you very much for.
Love y'all.
Thank you, everybody in the audience, for joining the show. We appreciate your time that you spend every Saturday with us. Thank you for everybody on the show. Thanks, folks. Everybody say goodbye.
No.
Bye.
I won't.
Bye.
Don't do what they tell you. Stand up.
Do drugs.
I won't say it.
Do drugs. Watch NASA.
What the fuck?
Later.